Y'all, some more footage has been released in relation to the 8 passengers case with Kevin, as well as the day that they were getting a couple of the children back from another person's house. And I got some things to say about it, so we're going to talk about it in today's video. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. The sofa's back there, Roscoe's back there, we're back here, and my name's Paul. Now, we are going to be talking about the 8 passengers case today, like I said. So the way we'll do this is we're going to be reviewing a few news clips. There's not many of them, maybe 10 clips or something like that. The first clips we'll be reviewing are of the day that they were going to the person's house to get a couple of Ruby Franke's children back after the whole situation went down over at Jody Hildebrandt's house. Now, this person's name is Pam Bodtcher. She's the president of the Connections Foundation. Now, what's interesting about this is, number one, just to hear a few things that she says in it, but also how she all of a sudden is like, who's she? I don't know her. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about just a few clips from Kevin Franke when he was getting those things back from the stuff that his older daughter took from the house, that he was all like, I want to file a lawsuit against her and all this type of stuff. So, just to kind of get you to where I was with this, a lot of you were like, telling me, Paul, did you see this in our conversations in the comment sections and other platforms? And in my mind, I was thinking, well, I did a video on the Kevin thing, and I saw at work, when I was at work, like scrolling through the internet and stuff, I saw, Kevin, does all this stuff with, wants to sue his daughter. And in my mind, I was like, well, why are they saying all this again? And then I was like, oh, wait a second. There's a video of it. So the look I had on my face once I saw the context of him speaking and whatnot, because the video I did earlier on it was before that was released. It was just like an article about it, that type thing that we reviewed. And so I was like, okay, got it, right? And then y'all already know my mouth was on the floor with the Pam stuff. So we're going to talk about that too. Okay, so anyways, don't forget, number one, if you want to follow me on the old gram, on the old Insta, yo, it's on the screen right here. Go on, give it a follow, give it a holler, see what you think. We'll see you over there. And just remember, these are literally just my opinions and commentary. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm a guy with a little dog and a sofa and some opinions on true crime. So that's all it is, just my opinions. So with that being said, let's dive in.
We had a agency assist out of St. George in Springville.
On August 30th, American Fork police responding to the home of Pam Bodtcher to try and locate 2 of Ruby Franke's children the day Ruby and Jody Hildebrandt were taken into custody in southern Utah.
Okay, now that's building the foundation. That's what's going on in this clip. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind as we watch this and review it is just that right there. Think about, number one, that the officers and stuff like that, we're seeing the story from all the information we have now and being able to look and research, and we knew this happened and whatnot. So all this is just kind of colliding on this day when, the whole thing went down, where the 2 children went over to the neighbor's house and escaped Jody's and the whole 9 yards. So think about that, and then watch the behaviors and listen to the things that come out of Pam and her husband's mouth in relation to how well they know them, what connections is, the relationship with the children. So let's roll tape.
Just put your hands in front of you, okay? Just going to place you temporarily under arrest, okay?
In 2 body camera videos obtained by 2 News, officers placed Bodtcher in handcuffs and took her to the back of a patrol car and waited for Springville police to arrive.
Now, side note, I'm not going to lie, y'all. The fact that her husband's allowed in the house, I was surprised over. From what we have seen, I'm like, well, this is a first for this crowd, right? She went in willingly. I was just like, okay, that's interesting. I mean, she was like, okay, put the bracelets on me. And so I just thought it was interesting how willingly she went, and the husband, hold on now, which, again, pretend that these were innocent bystanders, and I'm not saying they're guilty of anything, but meaning they had no connection to connections. Like, these were legit, like, we know her from cross-stitching class, and her daughter comes over for piano lessons, kind of a thing. I'm just like, well, you would be like, what? Why am I being arrested? But she just went, so, okay, very interesting. Let's keep going.
To Washington County.
Is Ruby Franke's daughter.
Okay.
She's a friend of ours. She comes over and helps me every once in a while to do cleaning and stuff.
Because she knows her mom. She's very good friends with her. Has known her for a long, long time.
Okay, a couple of things in that. She comes over, we're friends with her, she helps me do cleaning and stuff. Y'all, they had these children literally just indentured servants, okay? My opinion, just, that's just how I view it. I mean, like, this whole crowd where I'm like, what all did you have them doing? I mean, these children were just like workhorses, right? In addition to having to perform for the camera. Then you heard the husband. Oh, he's known her for a very long, long, long time. Now, when we get to the clip of what Pam has to say, oh, she ain't too confident about all that.
So my friend called me and she said, hey, I have a family emergency. I'm going to St. George.
A DCFS worker arrives as officers try to clarify a time frame from when Ruby Franke called Pam and apparently told her where she could find the two children spread across Utah County.
Ruby contacted you around noon and said that they had
I don't know if that's exact.
Minutes later, the DCFS worker asks how Pam knows the family, to which she confirmed our reporting about how Ruby, Jody Hildebrandt, and Pam all worked through Jody's business.
Now, y'all, let's take a moment. Let's just look at that real quick and read through it. So here you see, this is the Connections website, Meet the Business Team. Our business team, Pam. Pam Bodtcher is the president of Connections Foundation. She has a degree in interpersonal communications, a mother of 7 and a grandmother of 14. She has served for 6 years on the Timpanogos Symphony Board of Directors and 2 years on the Utah Metropolitan Ballet Board of Directors. So here's the thing, y'all. When we hear her talk about what Connections is and stuff like that, y'all, I mean, the word president is associated with her name on this website, okay? That's enough said. Let's keep going.
How did you start to know the family? How did you meet?
The Franke family?
Yeah.
Through a program called Connections.
Notice how she was like, at first she was like, the Franke family? And it's like, no, honey, the Huxtables. Who do you think we're talking about, girl? You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, a program called Connections. Okay, so listen to this.
It's a kind of a life skills type of thing.
A life skills type thing. Cannot roll my eyes hard enough, y'all. A life skills type. Some life skills. Okay, we see the life skills coming out of there. You know the workers who are putting this all together and seeing what's taking place and piecing the story together. Because again, we're all looking at it hindsight. We've had all this. We're privy to, what we know now at this point, right? But even on this day, at this point where they know stuff and they're like, yeah, so Jody's in jail. Ruby's in jail too. Now, she wouldn't know this right away. I mean, obviously something was up with Ruby, but not with the Jody thing or whatever. So they had to be looking at her like, with complete side eye. Let's keep going.
Pam walked with the officers and DCFS worker back to the front of their home, where they told the children that they were either to stay with their older sister or be placed into state custody with a foster family.
Now, I just wanted to put that out there because that's what's going to segue into the whole little Kevin thing here in a minute. We got a couple of more clips of her, some more just like long footage to watch. But just know that like this is how some of this went down. So when we get to the Kevin clips, that's how. Let's keep going.
So just to make sure I'm understanding all this correctly, Ruby contacted you around noon and said that they had
I don't know if that's exact.
That's your best guess.
Said she had a family emergency.
And needed you to pick up the girls.
Yeah, she said, would you mind watching the girls while I'm gone? Because she was leaving. I said, yeah, I could do that because I need some help cleaning.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that because I need some help cleaning. I mean, y'all, it just came right out of her mouth too. Now, of course, we don't know the scenario between all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know, right? So the kids might have enjoyed, we go over there and get some, free cookies and, money or whatever and clean the house. Or you don't know what the situation was, but I doubt they were getting that, right? Especially if Ruby was involved. But it just sounds so bad, and especially knowing what we know now, where I'm like, well, yeah, they probably just carted the kids off to various places, and we're like, you're going to clean Jody's house, you're going to clean, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. Now, also of interest, obviously we know this now, but when Ruby's like, hey, we're having a family emergency, could you go get the kids? And it's like, yeah, girl, it's called you're being arrested for some serious, serious, serious stuff.
What type of things do they do with the program?
It's like life skills. Like learning how to, It's like be honest, responsible, and humble. Those are those 3 pillars of their program.
Okay, well, first of all, she is stumbling over herself to even say what the program is, right? I mean, that right there is red flag central. And if you notice the social worker or the DCF worker or whatever her title is officially, she's like, and you know she has to be sitting there like, whoa, okay, we have found a little hive of absolute insanity. If this is their 3 pillars, and if you just saw what we saw coming out of Jody's house, oh no.
Is there like a meeting place for you guys met, or is it kind of a virtual place?
It's online every Saturday morning. It's called Empowering Joy.
Okay. How long have you known them for?
Oh, gee.
Ish.
Probably, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I didn't know her really well because she was in the program, but I didn't really know her. But I've known her probably really well, maybe 3 years.
She got real quiet and then got real Mariah. Yo, here's the thing with this part that I'm just like, she doesn't want to say how long she's known her. And again, I don't know. I'm not a body language expert. I'm not a shrink. I'm not any of that stuff. But what my feelings are about it, which doesn't matter because feelings aren't facts, right? But my feelings are that she, obviously, anybody would know that this is trouble, that something bad has happened and something's going on. She's kind of wanting to recoil a little bit from her involvement. Like, well, I didn't know she was in the program. And I'm like, girl, your name, it says you're the president of the program. You know what I'm saying? And it's when it shows the partners, it's you, her, and Jody. Okay. So, and she's like, I didn't know her well. So it's almost like already wanting to back out of the, yeah, I know what she was doing to her kids, Nobody's going to say that, obviously. I wouldn't expect her to, right? But I'm also like, we didn't know her that well, but you know her for 3 years, but her kids are getting dropped off in a family emergency to come clean your home. Got it.
Is this like a program that she started, or is it just one that she kind of...
She's just a part of it.
She's just part of it.
And I guess Pam's just a part of it too, right? But unfortunately, with this, now that all this stuff is coming out, it's like, yeah, not something you really want to be a part of. Now, again, I've said this in my other videos, if you follow me and you watch them, about how interesting it is, how all of this is blown up, right? And how so much points back to Jody, and I'm not trying to alleviate anyone's responsibility by saying that, but it's literally like this blew up with Ruby, and then at the same time it was like bam, and meet Jody and connections, and it's just like, whoa, what else are we gonna find when we lift up another rock, right? So for Pam sitting here and kind of being like, oh, it's life skills thing, I don't really know her, well, she was kind of part of the program, and this and that, and it's just like you have to question so many people's involvement, and even by involvement I could mean knowledge, right? Because some of this, the stuff that we heard that Jody was doing to the kids, Jody and Ruby, I apologize, both of them, like with Pam, it's like, well, how well did you know them? I mean, her kids are coming to your house, surely you're seeing signs of injuries and being hungry, and you know what I'm saying? So I question all of this. So, that being said, let's move on to Kevin. Now, what this is when Kevin is getting his stuff back from the cops, right? Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I was like, oh, I made a video on this, but this is like the context of his demeanor, his vibe. He is getting the stuff back. Remember, his older daughter, who you're talking about, she had taken the kids. She got some electronics out. I would give good money to know what was on those. Because I just personally feel like that was the motivation. Like, she was getting evidence. Now, remember, when all this arrest went down, she did an Instagram post talking about, finally, with the picture of the cop cars outside their house or whatever. So, I mean, she knows, right? She knows. Kevin has been like, we've seen him going to court, doing this, doing that. Oh, I didn't know this was going on. I didn't know that was going on. But now we get to see him interact with the police over something with his older daughter. Now, we already know via the headlines and all that of he was wanting to sue her and have her arrested for breaking and entering. But let's kind of see how he acts about it in person.
There you go. Is it all there?
Yes. Now, explain to me again why this was not robbery.
Oh, okay. That's pretty much what we needed to hear. And no, case closed. I'm just joking. So, but I mean, kind of, right? So when he looks through the stuff, and again, I'm sitting here, I'm like, God, I would love to know what was on those. What kind of evidence and whatnot, but that's here nor there at this point. But he's kind of unsure, like, and why wasn't this robbery? Listen to what the cop says to him, right? Because it's kind of legitimate. It's almost like this, she's being truthful and honest, like, well, here's the reasons why. But it's kind of like, dude, where have you been?
Because it's a civil issue. You guys are family. She's been in the house before. You haven't been in the house in a year.
She ate, left no crumbs on that one. You can't really say much after that. You know what I mean? It's your daughter, okay? Your estranged wife is being arrested for major things. Why? I mean, why? It makes no sense to me. So, unfortunately, what it tells me, though, and I shouldn't say, like, what I mean by that is it's sad, right? When you start peeling the layers back on something like this, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is how much we're in this train of thought or whatever. Because just hearing that, I'm like, I don't know. I think he might have just been as deep in this as, knowledgeable in the train of thought and the belief system as the other ones, meaning Ruby, Jody, all that kind of stuff. He wasn't around for a year. He willingly left. He got an apartment. He went along with everything that Jody said, and so then it's like, oh God, I didn't know the kids were being harmed. And it's like, well, bro, hello, you were living right down the road, like, what's up?
She had interest in the items. She didn't take them with the intention to deprive you of them. So theft, that's the theft code. We have to prove intent to deprive you of the items. And that wasn't her intent in having them. So the detective sergeant said that we're not going to charge her for anything.
All right, note taken. Thank you very much. Let's go on to the next clip.
Okay. I'll have to do some more research on that.
Y'all, I literally was like, if he comes up with some sovereign citizen thing, I'm done. Okay, I was like, I'm done, y'all. I am done. That's all. That's the last thing we need in this, right? I was like, I'm gonna do my own. I've done my research, and I was just like, dude. And I get that. I mean, I'm just being dramatic, right? It's like, of course, do your research on these things and whatnot. I mean, whether I agree with the motivations of things or not, it's it's his life, right? He's more than entitled to do all that. But it's just so odd to me. Like, what are you trying to hide? What are you trying to protect? Why do you feel this way about this daughter? Now, obviously, if she's spoken out, I mean, it's clear she doesn't agree with some of the parenting tactics in the house, right? So, if there's that, then it's like, well, that would be why, but I would hope that he doesn't agree with some of these parenting tactics either.
You're welcome to do that. If you want to follow up with her, text me yourself.
Yeah, he'll be here on Tuesday. His name's Sergeant McCoy. Okay. You're welcome. Take care.
And wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That was it. Okay, so I kind of, have said most of my stuff that I usually reserve for the end of the video throughout, but I do have a couple of more thoughts. So this is, moving forward, what I'm interested to see is, number one, just what happens in the custody battle, obviously, but clearly what the main goal needs to be the kids being in a safe spot, period, right? They've already been through enough. I mean, clearly this is a generational thing from what we've heard from people speaking out on this and whatnot, victims coming forward. I'm speaking specifically right now just about the Kevin and Ruby situation, those children. Okay, the whole connections thing and the Pam thing and the Jody thing, again, it still shocks me that the website's up. I mean, come on. That whole thing just needs to get exposed. Pam's very lucky she didn't catch some charges that day, in my opinion. Now, of course, you might be like, well, Paul, there was nothing there, clearly, or whatever. I get that, right? But I'm just saying, I feel like on a certain day, it could have been different. It's just weird to me to just kind of be like, oh, yeah, I went to pick him up. I needed the house to be cleaned. It's like, okay. it's just weird. Something doesn't feel right about it. And I was saying this to somebody in one of the comment sections or on Instagram stories. I don't know. Okay, I can't keep up with it. I'm old and confused. But the way that everyone is kind of trying to retract and gaslight a little bit, and, you know, I mean, we saw Ruby gaslighting in courts and stuff like that, or whatever. You know, Jody, oh God, I'm sick, you know, all this stuff. Pam, I didn't really know them that well. Connections, yeah, I've heard of them. I think it's like a life skills thing. Didn't really know them very, very well for a few years. You know, this kind of thing where it's like, oh, to me, it's a sign of, well, you know something's not right. Because if it wasn't, it'd be like, oh, it's Connections. It's this wonderful program. You're not going to do a sales pitch right then and there, right? But not this, you know, backing away. I've known Ruby for 3 years. She's amazing. She's wonderful. Why? What happened? You know, is everybody okay? Did she get in a car wreck? These are the kind of things I would expect to see initially. You know, and again, maybe that was on the video that we didn't see, right? You know, I mean, to each their own, and everything, you know, the two sides to every story. But yeah, not a cute look all around on either of these. I mean, where do you go from here? Pam, I would have my pitch, I'd have that taken. I mean, I'd be like, look, this website needs to come down. My thing needs to come down off there. I would be running from that. Now, I've heard, I don't know how this works, but I guess maybe Jody runs it. I don't know. And, well, she don't have anyone at home to, you know, do it for her, obviously. Apparently, they don't want nothing to do with her. So, I don't know if that's why it's still up. You know what I'm saying? If that is, it's slightly karmatic. But yeah, so anyways, that's it. What do you think? Like, what was your initial reactions watching this? Because again, I just watched them a little bit ago. I was finally like, okay, I'm back from the mountains. Let's, you know, check this stuff out. And so I just kind of, again, with this case, had my mouth on the floor where I was like, you know, what next? What next? Thank God the children are alive. Thank God the children are alive. You know, and the husbands and wives in some scenarios are alive, right? Because this, we've seen, can end quite differently, right? So anyways, that's it. If you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate it. Lord, thank you. Roscoe says if you're still watching, if you're a regular sofa squatter, you already know what he wants. He wants those sofas all up in the comment section, so feel free to drop some. And until we meet on those little sofas to hang out and do little Roscoe things and comment section things, we'll see y'all there.